Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 2 at Santa Anita on Saturday. It is a Kentucky Oaks qualifying points race, the Grade 3 Las Virgenes, going a 2-turn mile. Let's take a look at this field. Trainer Bob Baffert has the one Feza in here at 8-5 on the morning line, already a Grade 1 stakes winner, and around 2 turns. That was in the Starlet last year. Justique has looked good rolling from the back of the pack in sprint races. We'll see if she can do it going long.
Yeah, big questions as far as distance goes with the 6, who likes to sit and make one run. As far as the favorite goes, Feza, I don't know, Dan. She's 2 for 2. I guess we'll find out a little bit more about that Starlet in this race, because you have 3 of them coming back in here. I'm still undecided about how good I think that race was, but I have no real problem with Feza.
Feza was up close to the pace in the Starlet. Let's see where she is on our Timeform US pace projector for Saturday's Grade 3. Broadway Girls has shown speed on turf, and I think she's going to be able to make the lead switching back to the dirt. Feza will show tactical speed as well, and Sweet Trouble, stretching out for the first time in her career, can work out a spot as well.
Yeah, maybe the 3 transfers the recent form over and makes the lead in here. I guess that wouldn't be surprising. The 1's going to go forward. I think the 2 makes the lead in here, Dan. She didn't go to the lead in either one of her first 2 starts sprinting, but she could have been on the lead if they wanted her there. And it just feels like they didn't want her there. Now they're going to stretch her out in a graded stakes race. I think she's going.
Let's talk a little bit about Feza, perfect 2 for 2 in her career. And here's her victory in the Starlet at Los Alamitos. We turn to the long stretch. Feza is 3 wide, down towards the inside, and the blue cap is Pride of the Nile, who stumbled very badly at the start of this race. And being down inside isn't often an advantage at Los Alamitos. You saw the jock try to get out in upper stretch. In behind in 4th position right now is Uncontrollable, who will suck up for 3rd. Feza and Pride of the Nile throw it down the final 16th, and despite switching to her left lead late, Feza gets the best of Pride of the Nile.
Yeah, she's going to prevail. Stayed on the outside in the clear basically the entire running of this race, Dan, and managed to get the job done. It's what I was talking about, though, in the open. I'm just not sure how good the Starlet is. They both ran fine in there. I'm not so sure that Feza ran, that much better than Pride of the Nile did, even though the runner-up got through on the rail. I don't know. I think they both ran fine. I'm not dying to bet either one of them back.
Let's talk about Sweet Trouble, a daughter of perennial leading stallion Into Mischief. She's still a maiden, but she's run well in both lifetime starts, including this 3/4 of a mile effort over a wet track at Santa Anita on January the 6th. We see her on the outside right now, and it looks like she's got all of the momentum. She's going to finish 2nd, but I think she's learning with each and every start, and I just have a feeling distance is what she wants.
Yeah, that's how I looked at her, too. She ran okay in here. She doesn't have a real excuse, and I guess it could be a little concerning that it feels like she's leveling out at the end of this race, but they just sort of sat in hand with her behind horses all the way to the top of the stretch. Then they swung her wide. The runner-up of that race, who was a Price and a first-time starter, actually looks pretty good for Mandela, though. So I'm not really going to hold that against her, Dan. The debut, she broke from the rail. She could have had 5 on that field out of the gate, but Pratt didn't want it. He just let everybody go, sat, and she got a little tired again there. I think they've been waiting to stretch her out.
Broadway Girls, the number 3, is a stakes winner, albeit on turf. She won the Blue Norther towards the end of her 2-year-old campaign. It's too early to just pigeonhole her as a turf horse, however. Her one and only start on dirt came going 5.5 furlongs, and she caught a more experienced Baffert-trained runner who ran off and hid, and then came back and ran 2nd in the Grade 1 Del Mar debutante.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only dirt star, she was green in that race anyway, had way too much to do, and actually made a little bit of a run at the end of the race. She's obviously gotten better since then. We'll see if she can bring the improved form back over to the dirt. I guess it helps if she makes the lead.
Broadway Girls moves from turf to dirt. Pride of the Nile, who we saw run 2nd in the Starlet, was making her dirt debut in that race, and she handled it just fine. Again, she didn't get off to a very good start. She was able to save ground and come through on the inside, and she was extremely game to only be beaten ahead. We'll see if she really wants to handle the dirt. In the past, sort of one of the angles in California's turf horses run well at Los Al.
Yeah, we'll see if she can back it up. If she backs it up, I guess she's a contender, Dan. She did have legit trouble out of the gate. That was a bad stumble. And even though she got through on the rail at the top of the stretch, you saw in the replay there that she got bumped by that horse to her outside and then still fought. I don't know. She ran well last time, just not a horse that I necessarily wanted to bet back in this race, but I won't be surprised if she runs well again.
If Timeform US's blue bar scenario, which means this race could favor horses on or near the early lead, is correct, it will hurt the number 5 Uncontrollable, who does not have a lot of early speed. Now, I liked her effort in the Chandelier 2 starts back, a race where she fell behind early. She made a really striking inside move on the turn, got to the outside, and was running late. The race didn't come back very fast. Last time out in the Starlet, again, kind of bumped a little bit at the start by Pride of the Nile, saved ground at the back, had to get to the outside, and again was clunking on late. If there's some pace, I still think there's something here.
I do too. And as opposed to the 1-2 finishers in the Starlet last time, she was off a little bit of a layoff there and just maybe got a little bit too far away. I'm with you on her Chandelier. I thought she went pretty well in that race, especially when you consider it kind of felt like her rider wanted to come in out around that second turn. He just couldn't get that run started until it was a little bit too late. I still thought she ran well.
Justique completes the field. Very talented thus far. Now, she'll be coming into this race off about a 2-month layoff, not by design. She was going to run sprinting in the Santa Ynez. She got sick. Trainer John Sheriffs had to scratch. But let's watch her last start as a 2-year-old, the Desi Arnaz. There was a fast pace in front of her. She didn't break very well, but the pace helped, and the fact that she's a very talented late kicker helps. She blows by them at the end.
Yeah, it's a good looking win here. Even though the pace was solid and she was last early, she never let herself get too far away. And you can see here in the replay, just wins as easy as you want to see her win this race. She's been impressive in the 2 wins. I still think if you're thinking about betting her in here at a short price, you better go back and watch the Chandelier, and then try to make the argument that somehow she had an excuse in that race, because to me, she didn't have one. It's not like the 1-2 finishers had any better of a trip than she did in there, and she didn't come close.
And another issue with her is she never seems to break cleanly out of the gate, and if the pace is slow, it could work against her. She is bred for the distance, as a half to Motown, who won the Hollywood Derby on turf and the Remsen on dirt, both longer distance races, but Justique's going to have to prove that she really wants to go this long. Top pick time for the Las Virgenes, and in this race, I think we're both going to look for prices. Feza, how good was her victory in the Starlet last time out? It seemed like she and Pride of the Nile had their own little battle going. She's going to take money. I want to see Justique do it from off the pace. You're going to go with the maiden Sweet Trouble.
Yeah, I have no real use for Justique in this race. As far as the Starlet goes, I only want your horse in there, Uncontrollable, to see if she can maybe make a move forward in here. But I don't love that race anyway. And I just feel like Sweet Trouble, the more I looked at her first 2 races, the more I feel like D'Amato's been waiting to stretch her out. I'm going to hope that Kent sends her here.
And she's likely to get the jump from on the lead, or if just off of it, from tracking range on my horse Uncontrollable, who doesn't have a lot of speed. Is she a better closer than Justique? Maybe at this distance she is, and she'll be a much better price. 2514 for Mike, 5614 for me. It's the feature at Santa Anita on Saturday with Kentucky Oaks qualifying points on the line.